Last day of the session, and everybody is this uh, interested to go to their native place, and many of the trainees are supposed to catch the flight. And how much time may it take? How much time? 30 minutes. 30 is okay? 30 is okay, na? Okay. Pardon? Where? Oh, yeah, okay, carry on. So you came all the way to Bangalore, and you are supposed to. So may I know who is Bharati? Mein? Yosef, Astor College. I think you might have remember, right? So I have gone there, Professor Bharati. I have gone there for examination with you. Right. So this is the importance of history of Ayurveda. So what is the importance of history of Ayurveda? Whether really history of Ayurveda is going to be useful or not, first point. It is definitely useful, doubtlessly. And why this history of Ayurveda has been reduced from 100 marks to 25 marks, one point, and it is deleted as a one subject, clubbed in Padartha Vignan, and make it as 25 marks, and 175 marks of two papers of Padartha Vignan, and including history of Ayurveda. And once the student is getting 100 marks for clubbing both the papers, if he need not read anything about the history of Ayurveda, can pass. If he can be able to cope up with this only Padartha Vignan, he will pass. So, what I mean to say is, history, how it will be important means, if you go through the historical aspects, some biography, autobiography or biography, or nowadays some biopics. So, what we are going to learn from seeing the biopics or reading the biography or autobiography. So, in the autobiography or biography, whether the historian or this writer is going to give the clear picture or not, first you are supposed to assess. A historian must be unbiased. Whatever the incidents are happening in that particular this life of an individual should be in a position to give the exact information. Then only that particular individual can be considered as a true historian. So, how the readers or this what you call this Ayurvedic scholars should be inspired by reading the biography or autobiography of a particular individual. I would like to quote few examples of few legendaries. How, what was the background of those legendaries, and how they started their life, and how they became a successful this what you call this historian or this legendary in Ayurveda. Next slide, please. So, study the past if you would define the future. This is from Confucius. He is the Chinese teacher, editor, politician, and a philosopher. And the period between 551 to 479 BC. So, what he is trying to tell is, अतीत का अध्ययन करो करे अगर आप भविष्य को परिभाषित करेगा. So, this is, I think you might have got the meaning of that one. So, if you want to this what you call this define the future, you are supposed to read the or know the past. Next slide, please. In order to protect the future, it is wise to understand the past. M.K. Gandhi told that भविष्य की रक्षा के लिए अतीत को समझाना बुद्धिमानी है. It is wise to protect. In order to protect the future, it is wise to understand the past. Next slide, please. So, itihas. Itihas, thus it is positively existed or happened. And that means what was happened, that should be recorded. You should not deviate anything, you should not give biased data or this whatever is palatable to you, that particular point should be picked up and you are trying to project that only positive aspects and hiding the negative ones. So that cannot be considered as the true historian's duty. A historian should be in a position to give the clear picture about what was happened, the chronological incidents of the individual's life. Next slide. So this is the duties of a historian. He should not be biased, and he must take the motives of the historical actors, and he even handled in the treatment of evidence and avoid cherry picking. Cherry picking means you are taking whatever you is having are useful and deleting this what you call negative aspects. You should project both the aspects. Next slide, please. And so the chronological history of this anything, particularly Ayurveda, is not available as per dates. So how you should know about this history of Ayurveda means by means of the Vedic knowledge, historical works and travelers' accounts, and for which these are the instruments, old records and manuscripts, coins, edicts and excavations. So for which you can able to build up the history, what was happened and what in the chronological order. This is also only the what you call this assessment, and it may do at times may not be correct. So you are thinking that this might have been positively happened. In that way, you can this what you call as a record by having certain evidences. Next slide, please. So this is the how Britishers learned the Indian art of this the what you call the plastic surgery. It's a this what a fascinating story. You see the person before operation and after operation. This is the flap and this scar on the forehead and how it was happening. Just next slide, please. So in 1769 to 1799, the war between this Mysore, this what you call this rulers and the Britishers, and at that time this Hyder Ali and the Tipu Sultan were the rulers, and these 4 wars were happened. And at that particular point of time, a Maratha car driver known as Kawasaki and 4 Tilangas have been caught by this Tipu Sultan and cut their noses because they are serving for British army. So that was a punishment made. So afterwards they have sent to the British army. The British commander observed that what was happened, and it was happened, and a merchant, when he is dealing with the merchant, that merchant nose was this peculiar nose, and his forehead has being having a triangular this scar, and he inquired about this what was happening. So because of the adultery, what he has done during this particular business, this punishment has been given, and that's why this I have gone to approach this one of the Vaidya, his Potter community, and it was being this plastic surgery was done, and basing on that, the British commander has known that this is the why it was happened and why it has how it was happened and how it has been replaced, and he called that Vaidya and known about and asked these 4 Tilangas and this car driver and to make this surgery. In the presence of British doctors, 2 doctors, eminent doctors, the surgery was happened, and that was published in this English this journal known as that is illustrated in a Gentleman's Magazine. It was published, and that was inspired by this English surgeon J.C. Corpus, and in the year 1814 he has conducted this surgery, and there onwards the Indian plastic surgery was popularized. That is the origin, because the incident was not happened, the British commander was not seen that particular this merchant's face, and it was not happened. This is the history. Next slide, please. And if you go through this is the one of the historical personality, Yadavji Trikamji Acharya, born in the year 1881 at Porbandar, and he has had his early education at Porbandar. Later on, he has shifted to Mumbai and learned all these subjects known as this Arabic language, Farsi, and all Ayurveda also learned. And at the year of 18, at the age of 18, his father was passed away, and he took the responsibility of his family and put practice and started practice after completion of at the age of 18. Just you remember, and he has translated this Ashtanga Hridaya, this what you call the Madhava Nidana with Madhukosha Vyakya. That's the first this work. From 18th year onwards, this what you call his academic this progress or these activities are going on till his last week. So he has translated. He was the editor for this Charaka Samhita and Susha Samhita and many a number of these works. So this should be, one should be inspired. What was happened at the age of 18, translation of Madhukosha Vyakya is not easy. And you might have, everybody has, you are having this Charaka Samhita, this, the edition of this Chakrapani commentary and Nibandha Sangraha. So it is, it's a fantastic work. Nobody has done such a work. It is a great legendary of Ayurveda. Next slide, please. So he showed for the poor, this is, you see, dispensing medicines freely for the poor persons and also without taking any consultancy. That is the nature of that particular gentleman. And similarly, he encouraged the Ayurvedic scholars to write books and taken up the publication. So it is not, he is not a, this what he calls, a person, such a person who is to encourage others also to write certain Ayurvedic works, to propagate the literature of Ayurveda. And after writing the books, he used to encourage by publishing that works. That is the most important. Simply writing and throwing it away is not the thing. And publication is also most important. He has taken the responsibility of publication also. Next slide, please. So this is another great personality, Vajraratnam P.S. Warrior. And he is not an individual, he is a great institution. And this Kottakkal is a small village. And now it become a, this what you call this, the city of this Kottakkal, and it is in the world map. Everybody knows throughout the globe, Kottakkal, Arya Vajrashala, Kottakkal is known by every person throughout the globe. How it was happened. And he studied 4 years of this Ayurveda course under this Arya Vajjan Moosh. And afterwards, he started practice at Kottakkal with 7 beds, so startingly. And his aim is not simply just what he calls practicing, but the Ayurveda, this should be an industry. And for which his ambition is to raise Ayurveda at the highest level, and for which money is the problem. And he started one cheat fund company with the friends, and it was successfully happened. And by getting that money, he started this Arya Vajrashala Kottakkal. And now it was started in the year 1901. Now it is 2019, means almost 120 years of journey. So this is the thing. We should be inspired. So if he is not having such idea, and this what you call this, how this Ayurveda should be this uplifted, and what is the responsibility of the individual, he has taken the responsibility and made it possible. Everything is possible. You are all having the abilities. How best you can do, you can do. And my teacher, Dr. Nisteshwar, you might have known. Dr. K. Nisteshwar, he is the professor and worked sometime as a professor at Jamnagar, Gujarat Ayurveda University, Jamnagar. Now he is retired. And he used to tell one thing: there is no substitute for hard work. Simple. This word is enough for us to work hard, and you can achieve. You can show miracles. You will be not what you are. You will be more than that what you will be, if you can work hard. And I was retired from service on 30th June 2018. So previously I worked, and my duties going to the college and doing some academic work. But as on date, I used to work not less than 12 to 14 hours. For writing this work, after my retirement, I started working these 2 works and finished within hardly 3 months. So within 3 months, I used to complete these 2 works and able to publish within 3 months. Means after within 6 months, I can able to complete this one. And I will tell about this. This is the practical guide on Panchakama, and I will show you. And this is the Siddhasara Samhita. Most of the scholars might not have heard about this Siddhasara. So I will tell you this. I will take only 5 minutes. Last at the end, I will tell you. Next slide. So this is one more legendary. So Achanta Lakshmipati. So he is from this Achanta of this West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh, and he started his life. So at the age of this, what you call 15, he got married, and after marriage, he has completed his matriculation, And afterwards, he joined as a clerk at the rupees 15 per month in a municipal office. So taluk office at Kovur, rupees 15 per month. And he got the opportunity to work and a hike of rupees 10, means 25 rupees in the census office at Chennai. And he has shifted to Chennai for this, what you call the hike of 25 rupees. Okay. And unfortunately, that taluka, the census office was closed. And again, he returned back. So what was his intention is he's not having the idea to study medicine. Okay. Just after completion of his SSC or matriculation, he joined as a clerk and worked some time and returned back afterwards. And his father also not encouraged him to go for higher education. And his grandfather is very much particular and encouraged him for this higher education. And he joined in some ordinary degree college. So one day he is going to the college, his father's friend called him and where are you going and what is happening? And I am doing my BA. And he told that. And he has shown one advertisement in the paper. And in Madras, there is a MBCM course is there. You are eligible to join in this medical college. If you are interested, you can apply. Immediately he has applied and he got the admission. He joined and he has completed his MBCM course. That's at the time, this is not MBBS, MBCM. And yeah, MBCM. And immediately after that, he used to practice. During his, what you call education days also, he used to start this one publication division, Vijnana Chandrika Amanali publication division, and also with that he used to publish some works. And after completion of his this MBCM, he started this what you call 4 clinics around the 4 corners of this Chennai. And from each and every this clinic, he used to run by bicycle, cycle, 2-wheeler. Okay, so this was happened. Once afterwards, he has got the opportunity to visit one village that is known as Avadi, nearby Chennai. And some patients called him for this consultancy. He got there, and so actually he's this what he calls he's supposed to return back on the same evening. So there is no transportation in the evening hours. He's forcefully stayed there on that night. And the next day morning, he visited and see the surroundings that he has got the idea. Why can't we start this what you call this hospital in that particular area? And he has purchased 4 acres of land at the rate of this 100 rupees. And this what you call taken lease for some 200 acres and constructed one Arogya Nagara there. And this is just like cottages. And afterwards, he has purchased 300 acres. Only 4 acres he has purchased initially and taken lease for 200 acres. And afterwards, he has purchased 300 acres. And later on, due to this government issue, this military base was there that was taken over by the government by giving the compensation to him. So afterwards, he joined as this what he calls lecturer at Gopalacharya Ayurvedic College, and he used to this what he teach as he is a modern doctor. He used to teach this anatomy and physiology to their students and learn Ayurveda from Gopalacharya. So this was happened. Afterwards, he has shown interest towards Ayurveda, and one act came that he is supposed to register for this modern medicine. And he was reluctant to register as a modern practitioner. He continued as an Ayurvedic physician. So this is the story of this Achanta Lakshmipati, and how he has afterwards he married Dr. Srimati Rukmini Devi. He was the central health minister, and because of her only we got this what you call some committees were formed, and the committees were recommended for Indian medicine of this Indian system of medicine. Next slide. Next. Yes, this is one of the important story we are supposed to know about this. The author of Vedum Mein Ayurveda. So Ram Gopal Shastri. So he is the professor of the Sanskrit working in DAV College, Lahore. Next slide, please. Sure. So 1921, he joined as a professor and he used to work on this Vedas, particularly this the important aspects of Vedas. That was the research project taken over by him. And while working on that, he has observed some of the important aspects related to Ayurveda. So, by continuing his as usual project, he is trying to record the important aspects of Ayurveda and trying to noting down and this what you call documented those facts related to this Vedas. And he has completed that work. And afterwards, this what you call some struggle was there. Struggle means this independent struggle. At that time, he has taken over by this what you call he has put in jail for 1 year. And during that 1 year also, he has compiled some of the information related to this Vedas. And afterwards, this what you call he started writing this what you call noting down. He has worked for 16 years on that particular project and have complete information with him. And he is trying to publish that work. At that time, this Dandi Satyagraha and this was happened and this 1947. So this independence of this India, and at that time, this all these Hindus were this what were harassed by these Pakistanis, and their houses were burnt, and this looties happened, and he was forcefully this what you call left this place and came to India. At that particular point of time, he lost everything, including this money, this everything, this what you call wealth, everything he has lost, and he has came from this Lahore to this India, and he was not bothered about all these things. But just now, next place, previous place, previous. थोड़ा सा एनालाइज कर सकते हैं नहीं सॉरी previous yeah 1947 को मुझे अपने जन्मभूमि सदा के लिए छोड़नी पड़ी सहस्रों रुपयों को चल तदा अचल संपत्ति छोड़ने का मुझे इतना नेक्स्ट मुझे so even though he lost this what he calls mobile and immovable property, he was not at all bothered about that one. But he was bothered about what he has compelled. The compilation was lost. That's why he was very much worried. After 16 years of industry, he has compiled everything, and the total this hard disk was lost. That was over. And at that time, he got the opportunity to work in this Nikhil Bharata Ayurveda Parishad, elected as a president. And again, he started this compilation. He worked for 5 more years, and at last, he got the total information. And with the help of this organization, he can able to publish that work. The C from 1921 to it was published in the year 1956. So how much time he has spent for his publication, what was happened, and how much this what you call troubles he faced, and at the end of the day, he was very happy by seeing the publication work. Next time. Yeah, you might have known this Pandit Ramnarayan Sharma, the what you call founder of Bajanath Ayurveda Bhavan Limited. And here I would like to tell one story regarding Lakshmana Sekhar Ras. So Lakshmana Sekhar Ras, how it was, what you call this, coming to the market. So his grandson was suffering with chronic headache. Aged about some 8 years or 9 years boy, suffering with chronic headache, and he has consulted all the eminent neurologists and everybody, and he has taken to Mumbai also, that the headache was not relieved. And he was, what you call this, lost his hopes. So he is not going to be relieved. And at that particular point of time, this Ramnarayan Sharma, he used to refer these Ayurvedic works and able to identify that Lakshmana Sekhar Ras, the formulation. and he himself prepared that one and given that this medicine to his grandson, and he got relief. And at that, but from that time onwards, this Lakshya Sekhar has been marketing. And this is my practical experience also. I have given this Lakshya Sekhar for number of patients, and one of the eminent, this what you call industrialist and this hotel management, some hotel Ailapuram is there in Vijayawada. His grandson, yeah, same at the age of aged about some 9 to 10 years, same problem. And I have given this Lakshya Sekhar Rush along with Padhyadikada. And these two are the wonderful drugs of choice for the management of chronic headaches. Take it guarantee. It can be given and it will be going to give wonderful results. Okay. And next one, please. So not only these Indians, if you go to the what you call this European this authors, contribution of European authors on research in Ayurveda, and J. Philojit. So he is the person, and he started his career. He's an ophthalmologist. His period is 1906 to 1982, and he has abandoned his profession and fully engaged in Indology from 1947 onwards, and he worked as a professor of France, language and literatures of India from 1950 to 1978, and he worked on this Kumara Tantra of Ravana, Yoga Shataka, Harita Samhita, Bheda Samhita, Ashtang Sangraha, Chakradata. So how interest they have taken, and what is the this what you call is the treasure which is what you call is available in the Indian literature, and he has digged and tried to elicit the literature of Ayurveda and this treasure of this Indian this literature, and he is trying to publish many number of papers. Next slide, please. And he is one of the legendary G.J. Millenveld, and 1928 to 2017, and he is a Dutch scholar, practiced Indology, and specialized in this even Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu, Tibetan, and also this other languages. And he has translated this Madhukosha Vyakya of this Madhavanidan. And this is 1 to 10 chapters he has translated, and not more than that. And he has published many number of this what you call this articles, and specially focused on this nosology, the classification of diseases. He has focused and he has identified what are the special disease conditions mentioned in various books of various periods. And in Madhavanidana, he has identified Amlapitta, Amlavata, Amavata, Medoroga, Sitapitta, Masurika, and Yonikanda. These are the diseases which were not available in the previous books. He has identified and he has noted down. And in Vrunda, Siddha Yoga, Snayuka and Varma are the new diseases identified, and Vangasena, Somaroga and Mutratsara, Sayamutra and Sarangadarsanata. In this way, he has identified the newer diseases and the classification of disease, and also trying to focus about this importance of Madhavanidana and the classification of disease. This is the this what's called the new methodology of classifying the disease. It has been identified by this Mullenveld, and in the year 2011. Aryavaidya Pharmacy bestowed the Yavanacharya of Ayurveda to Professor Millenveld on the occasion of International Grand Centenary Convention. So next slide, please. So this is another person, R.E. Immek. So he is the Australian and settled in Germany, and 1937 to 2001. This is the period, and he is worked on these various works, and this is the work published by this what you call the R.E. Immek. And the Siddhasara Samhita, this is the manuscript available in Nepal library and German library, and it's also translated into Cockney's language. And he has also learned the language of Cockney's and Iran, Indian and Tibetan language he knows, and he studied well. And afterwards he has published this Siddhasara Samhita by this R.E. Immek. And he has made two very important contributions to Ayurvedic studies. One is critical edition of Ravi Gupta's Siddhasara. This is the first one. And creation of computerized voluminous data bank on an index of Sanskrit medical verses and prescriptions. These are the two great contributions made by R.E. Emek. And when I am doing my PhD program, and I used to know about this Siddhasara Samhita. So I worked on this Vangasena Samhita, and I tried to this what you call find out what are the works available the pre this Vangasena and post Vangasena. And I found out this Siddhasara Samhita written by this Ravi Gupta, of Buddhist scholar. Most probably this his place was not mentioned at anywhere in any point of time. So most probably he belongs to Bihar, I think so. So I am not sure. It was not mentioned. And later on he has shifted to Nepal, and this manuscript has been preserved in Nepal library, and later on it has been taken over to Germany. And even now also these manuscripts are available in both the libraries. Okay. And why I am interested to go for this one means, after going through this work, this is the 7th century work, this Ravi Gupta, and Madhavakara, this also 7th century, and he is 650 AD, Madhavakara 700, this 7th century. And after going through the internal and external evidences, it is identified that Madhavakara is the later to this Ravi Gupta. And the order of mentioning of the disease condition, what Dr. G.J. Mullenbeld mentioned, this is Madhavakara is the first person who has what you call made a separate type of classification of diseases. This was made in the Siddhasara Samhita prior to Madhavakara. And many a number of these formulations, I have this what you call observed this. At least 60% of the formulations have been lifted from Siddhasara to Vrindamadhava, and Madhavakara also written one more book is known as Madhava Chikitsa. Both the works after Nidana, he has written this Madhava Chikitsa and by the same person, and Vrindamadhava is this 9th century work, and 10th century this Chakradatta, and this 11th century Chakradatta, and 12th century this Vrindama, this Vangasena, and also this Gadanigraha. So if you go through all these medieval works, this is the base. Siddhasara Samhita is the base for all these works. You can find not less than 60% of these formulations have been lifted from Siddhasara to Vrindamadhava, Vangasena, and also this Madhava Chikitsa and Gadanigraha also. So that itself indicates that these are the efficacious formulations. That's why these formulations have been served, what you call survived, not less than 500 years, 7th century to 12th century. All these formulations are having such a great efficacy. That's why all these practitioners of those days, are those 500 years, they have practiced, and the same formulations which many number of these practitioners are adopting by seeing this Chakradatta. Many number of these practitioners are following Chakradatta, feels that it is a great work, and he is the pioneer, and he is the pioneer of this single drug formulations, and in which he has, in the introductory part, he has mentioned about this. He has consulted not less than 49 works. That means he has consulted previous 49 books, and he has this what you call taken the important information from various books, and he has documented in the form of this Chakradatta. And if you go to Gadanigraha is the base for this next book, that is Sarangadhara Samhita. In Sarangadhara Samhita, you can identify this special type of this narration of this what you call different types of formulations and disease-wise formulations. Disease-wise means usually the formula and useful in various disease conditions, swarasas in various disease conditions. This what we call the powders, churnas, various disease conditions, tailas, various diseases. In this way, he has classified the what you call this different types of formulations useful in various disease conditions. This is the methodology he has adopted, which has been borrowed from Shodala's Gadanigraha. It was the 12th century work, and if you go through this 14th century, this Sarangadhara, this is the what you call the idea he has got from this Shodala, and he has adopted, and Gadanigraha, Shodala has not become much popular, but whereas this Sarangadhara became popular. That's the fate of the individual also. Next slide. So this is the book. What is the importance of this Siddhasara? Siddhasara is one of the best books in the literature of Ayurveda written by Buddhist scholar Ravi Gupta, belongs to 7th century AD, and the silent features of Ashtanga Ayurveda has been embedded in this work. And what he felt that this is not easy for the mediocre student to cross the ocean of this literature of Ayurveda. So he feels that it is very much important to give a small, abridged, full-fledged information in a small book that will be useful for any one of the practitioners and particularly for the mediocre students. That's why he has come out with this abridged salient features of Ashtanga Ayurveda in the form of book known as Siddhasara Samhita. And in which he has covered all the aspects, because Samhita means the status of Samhita when it will be given means if at all it covers all the Ashtangas of Ayurveda, then only it can be considered as Samhita. In which he has given this basic information about this Tantra, Dravya, Gana, and Anapana Vidhi, Arishta Ajayas in the first 4 chapters. From 5th to 24 chapters, he had covered number of diseases, and afterwards he has covered this Kumara Tantra, Vajikarna, Shelya, Shalakya, Visha, and at the end, 31st chapter, this what Kalpasthana, this Kalpas, different Kalpas, Lasna Kalpa, this Palandu Kalpa, like so he has given this information, and at the end, he has annexed with this Siddhasara Nighantu also. That is the what you call this beauty of this book. He has covered all the Ashtangas along with this Ganas in the 2nd chapter, and at the end, he has given this Nighantu, Siddhasara Nighantu. This is the first Nighantu, okay, he has given. And next slide, please. So, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I think, as per the request of our doctors, I might have completed within half an hour. Thank you very much for giving me.
Let's move on to the last session of the CME. That's distribution of the certificate and relieving orders. I request ma'am to do the distributing of certificates. The first one is Dr. Rajesh. Dr. Vikas Bharadwaj. You are trained. Dr. Spurti JC. Next, Dr. Shirabdi Tanay. Next, Dr. Sajin Wagmare. Next, Dr. Manoj Pandey. Next, Dr. Rasne Sheetal. Next, Dr. Rajashri Bharti. See. Next, Dr. Sridhar Reddy. Next, Dr. Shivappa. Next, Dr. Mayur Patel. Next, Dr. Sahana C. Next, Dr. Bhuvaneshwari. Dr. Sushil Kumar. Next, Dr. Priyanka Bivi. Next, Dr. Suraj Khodre. Next, Dr. Debayan. Next, Dr. Savita Keshanai. Next, Dr. Satish S. Next, Dr. Krishna Rathod. Next, Dr. Mugdha. Next, Dr. George.
Last, Dr. Megha. Okay.
Sorry, kind of to madam. Uh, Thank you very much for your this 6 days successful training program. Because of Dr. Anand Kati and the head of the institution, Principal Madam Dr. Ahalya ji. So this is the first time I am seeing you, Madam. And since morning I am observing you. As an administrator, I know what are the practical difficulties to be faced. I also worked as a principal, and since morning till now, you are enthusiastically working and the same charm on your face, and you are not feeling any sort of this tiredness. And for 6 days program, the Anand Kati and his this what you call this a team has worked a lot for the successful program, and I'm very happy to see the what you call this participants, the most important. So I have attended number of the CMA programs. This is the first of its kind. I am very much enjoyed enjoyed to see all the participants came from different parts of the country, because it is not easy to attend all the 6 days from different corners of the country. These elections are going on nowadays. Still, I asked Dr. Khati whether it is possible to conduct it during this period. No, no. I have inquired each and every candidate who has applied for this program, and he has so every this participant has readily accepted to come out these 7 days is most convenient for them, and completed this what you call 30 number of these delegates is not easy. Conduction of the program and this what you call attendance of 30 this what you call participants from different corners of the country. Do attempts what is happening. The local candidates are there, they are making, and some medical officers they are attending, and it's going on everywhere. But it is not happened here, and for which the efforts what you have made is tremendous, and I highly appreciated for your this program. And I would like to hand over these two works after my retirement. What was happened, and I would like to hand over to the Madam Ahalya ji for the library, and requesting the same from the good support for my publisher, not for me, because he has spent not less than 3 lakhs for this publication. This is the book of the multicolored one. This multicolored one, and he has spent that much time, that much this money, and for which I am requesting you, and you will be getting this maximum admissible concession for you also. Not only these books, at least 30% concession will be given by this Chokamba people for your library or all personals also, whatever the book may be. So I'm